Good morning, everybody. It is 10 a.m. in Los Angeles at the moment, which means it's time to unleash Colourlab AI 2.1. Okay, everybody. Hey, and welcome to this small presentation. Basically, today we're going to show you everything that is new when it comes to Colourlab AI 2.1. It's a brand new update. We worked on it probably for a couple of months because the 2.0 went out of beta sometimes around NAB. Some really interesting announcements to make. I'm really looking forward to showing you everything. In the meantime, please feel free to say hi in the chat. Say hi and where you're from. We love to see you guys. And I can see there is Mayur from India. Then I got someone from Israel. Very good. Oh, Aaron Rabinovich is with us. Hello, Aaron. Good to see you here, Marcello. Someone from China, Theo. Very good, Theo, to see you here. And Gary. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Stay with us because we are, as you know, giving away 5 full pro licenses. I basically have a kind of few things prepared for you that I want to show you. Number one, we're going to go and talk about the Re35 support. So it is absolutely amazing camera. It's absolutely stunning. So basically what they did is they added about 1.5 stop at the top. They added another stop down, like in the shadows. We had to move a little bit because of that in the mid-gray, so this is a little bit different. I'm going to show you a little bit how the curves look like and what happens with the gamut. But the color gamut is really something else. We have not seen it in any other camera. You're going to also see just simply from the parameters what happens, that this camera does really operate slightly differently than the other cameras. After that, I'm going to show you all new 70 profiles we have included. Actually, there is 2 brand new categories for negatives, which brings now our collection of film stock negatives to 45 stocks. I mean, I don't know if anybody else, if any other software has got that many. And you know what? We're going to continue collecting and adding to it. I really love it. One thing that, we learned from the history that, there were so many applications in the past, not that many, maybe 1 or 2 that were very popular for a time because they were giving us a look, but then very, kind of quickly they became like, just worn out because you only were able to do 1 or 2 looks with it and then you somehow got bored with it and then everything ended up looking the same. We used to call it a magic bullet effect, right? Everybody was using magic bullet and then suddenly everybody realized, well, everyone's videos look the same. We don't want to use it anymore. So we don't want to do this. We keep adding with every updates, new looks, new profiles, so that you're always fresh. You can always, start with something new. And don't forget, the look designer is always there for you to make your own looks, so that you never look like anything else, right? So this is really, probably one of the most rewarding parts of color grading is that kind of look design, look development, and 70 new looks, as I said, are coming. Next, I'm going to show you our Premiere support. And you know what? It's a game changer. It's a game changer for Premiere people, especially those who work in professional environment, especially those who have to deliver, Dolby Vision, who have to work, in this kind of, fast-paced environment where you have to get the best image quality in scene-referred way. Now, one of the best image processing engine on the planet is available inside Premiere. So, you're going to see that. It's just absolutely fantastic. We have already several clients that are using it, that we're testing it with, and they love it. We actually can round trip now between Premiere and resolve without any conform in scene referred wave, and we support ACES inside Premiere. It's a really, really new stuff. Then I'm gonna go and pick 5 lucky winners, and then I have like a little video as well that I want to show you. So without further ado, guys, let me go and start with showing you a little bit about Re35. All right. So what we got here is basically a shot that is coming from the new Re35. And the one only difference for you, what is going to happen is that when you go into your camera profiles, right, what you're going to be able to select now here, look, is that you're going to be able to say Arri log CC4. This is a brand new setting, brand new profile that is going to allow you to bring that camera in. And this is just like a little test shot that we have that we're working with in analyzing how our color science works. I mean, you know what? Even just looking at these test images is just absolutely amazing. There is something about this camera, and you probably heard they even added several settings for grain. Those ones we still haven't integrated in our playback engine. We're still in beta when it comes to playback of some of the new RAW stuff and so on. But what you can do now is you can import any of the ProRes recorded Arri files, and what's most importantly, I'm going to show you can maybe even convert your existing lookup tables that you used for Arri, for log C, into the new format. But let me just show you a little bit what we like to do is just to maybe analyze the curve first. So first I want to show you what the curve normally looked like with Arri log C. So this is basically our kind of famous S curve that we all know and love, and why we always loved Arri. You see how it has this kind of gorgeous roll off at the top, and then gives you like a little kind of roll up in a shadow. It's very linear and straight in the middle, exactly what we wanted, right? So the Arri log C curve, probably one of the most well-known curves out there, right? Now I'm going to go and switch it to Arri log C4. This is the name of the new color science, right? And check it out. So clearly what happens is that there is this kind of different way how they're treating the shadows. So you see they're much kind of steeper, especially in a very, very very close to the zero. By the way, in their encoding, they're not really even using theoretically this part just below 98. So this is kind of gone a little bit down. But what's really most important, the curve is just a little bit steeper, right? And then check out this massive roll-off on the highlight. Just see how beautifully, this is rolling. This is where this 1.5 extra stop detail is coming from. That shape of the curve on the top is really where they're getting this from, with how they're managing to pack this dynamic range. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Now, I want to show you, this is the most interesting part here, is basically when we look at, the kind of, full color. So this is just, what we're getting out of the 709, right? Now, I'm going to go and show you first what it happens when we actually go and convert this, to pretend that the source is log C. So you see, this is a shape that we were used to seeing, right? And what every other camera you'll find it looks very similar to this. However, check this out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and move it to log C4, and it's unbelievable. So what it really indicates to us is that they have, coming from the sensor, an amazingly big color space that they have to just really channel down and slow down. When basically a transform lat for 709 has to go so channeled, so low, right? That really tells you, that they are actually dealing with a native sensor gamut, which is, very large, and they literally are trying to compress it down to a very small space. And I'm just going to go and show you basically how this curve behaves based on a saturation, right? It's really, really interesting. It's really, really interesting how it expands and what happens with it. So I I'm really looking forward to our first jobs, that we're going to be doing with this, the cameras, I think it's been just out a little bit, like probably, there is just a few models around, but, some of our clients are already using it. And, one thing, and the first thing they asked us, they said, hey, I have these lookup tables that I was using with my, Arri, standard Arri, right? And I don't want to give them away. I don't want to stop using them because, they were kind of my reference. I'm used to doing them, and I have several cinematographers who, I worked with to build those LUTs. They're kind of their kind of crown jewels. They really don't want to give them away just because there is a new camera. So the question is, hey, how can I use them now? How can I use them now? And you can. So let me just show you how you can do this conversion. This is probably something that you guys are going to be doing a lot. So I want to just show you quickly how to convert a LUT from standard Arri log C to the new C4. So first thing you do is you go here into your show looks, right? You click here onto plus, right? And then you're going to say import a LUT. And then basically I'm just going to go and import like a show LUT. This is something I have made earlier. And then I'm just going to ask you here first, what is the, source camera? I'm going to go, this is an Arri log C, right? And then what is your output? This LUT is working towards 709, right? And then you just do and you say, hey, import a show look. So once you have imported it, right, what is going to happen is this show look is going to then appear in your list of your recents, right? So let's go, and this is this look here. And then all you have to do is let's then go to the clip you're grading or something like that. You just apply this look, right? So now I basically got my show look there. Right mouse click on that clip and say export a LUT. And straight away you're going to get an option to export it in 65 or 33 size cube, right? And it tells you, hey, this is made for Arri log C4. There is no printer lights included at the moment. It's using this, show look, and you can then decide whether you want to export it to 709, right, or any other, output, device that you want. I'm going to leave it at 709. Very, very important thing. I'm not going to save it now, but you get the idea how it works. Very, very important thing. When you are working with the new Arris Color Science in your ODT, as you remember, we used to have, and we still do have, this Rec 709 by Arri. Do not use that one. If you use this 709 by Arri, you're effectively going to make your C4 look like original Alexa. So the 35 is going to look like first, generation of Alexas. Don't use this output unless you really want to match it, or unless you want to say, no, I don't want this, kind of new stuff. I want it to look exactly like my Alexa looked like. And I would imagine there are people like that. It took us years to get cinematography weaned off film, to switch them to Alexa. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be like a quick process to get them weaned off Alexa and move them onto the 35. People just, like they get used to the camera, they get used to the looks and so on. So anyway, make sure you're using the standard 709 because this is the color space that you need to use now with this particular color science, right? So this is very important thing. All right, the next thing I am gonna go and show you are our new looks. So basically, let me show you what happens. So first of all, let me start with a new category which is called phototone. Now, anybody here in the audience, let me know. Anybody is a fan of Fuji street style photography, the XT cameras, the Fuji cameras? Anybody? Well, let me see. I want to hear how many of you love Fuji. And I love that concept that you have that little camera. Yes, Patrick says yes. Mojo says yes. Yes, yes, yes. I do love it. So this is the category for you guys. It's totally created, inspired by some of the recipes that you can find inside an XT. It's totally inspired by that. And I love those recipes. And I love the concept that we can share the recipes, that we can dial them in, that there is always a new one. It's really something that attracted me to that camera. You know, I just, you know, kind of, you know, felt like, you know, sometimes, you know, I want to just take photos just because I know that in camera already I get this kind of beautiful look. I don't have to go home and then do some Lightroom transfers and all of that. I really love it. It's simple. You just point, shoot, and you get the look on it already. So basically, these are the profiles for you. This is all that. Just check a look at this kind of Fuji Provia, you know? Look how beautiful that looks, you know? Or like, you know, we have a Velvia as well. Then Superior. These are all, you know, some of the, you know, cooking recipes that you can find inside the XT, you know? But now you can apply it to any camera. And in my case, I'm, you know, applying it to Re35 footage. And very important, you know, we have our very first black and white. Yes, we do have a black and white, and it's actually an Ilford profile. I love Ilford 400. It's an absolutely, like, you know, fantastic stock. I'm just gonna go and remove any trace of color from it so that you really can have a look at it. You know, try it out. This is probably one of the most beautiful and most classic black and white stocks that uses more silver halide than any other stock out there. You know, it has this incredible curve, you know, that is just very, very hard, you know, to model, you know, by hand. Guys, you know, I have to tell you, like, this is it, you know, like when we made the first black and white, you know, we made it. We were waiting for it. We really wanted to make sure, you know, when we have it, that it looks absolutely beautiful, and it's there now. It's here. It's for you to use it. Okay? Then I want to show you, like, we have another pack, and this pack is called a Sinetone. Okay? The Sinetone. Now, Sinetone is you know, a pack that is using new negative profiles. They are not necessarily sampled, you know, from film, so they are not really negative profiles. But what they are is they are basically, you know, giving us, let me just go and reset this guy here so you start seeing it in full glory. They are like, you know, designed, you know, with colorists in mind, you know, and they really go for some looks that, you know, we got inspired, you know, through, you know, several TV shows that are running at the moment, you know, and you know, this type of looks that is very, you know, how they say, current for 2022. I feel like, you know, that these looks are designed, you know, to feel very current, very modern. Okay, so, you know, so they're called Lush, for example, or Luster, or there's this one called North, right? You know, if you want to go for a very cold and you know, like a bright look, then we have an orange one. This one is called Stefan, you know, and yeah, you probably, you know, allude already, like which Stefan, you know, we had in mind when we designed this look. It does look a little orange and teal, right? Then we have, you know, some like a retro looks, you know, that are great, you know, like, you know, like it feels just a little gritty, right? You know, we have a very warm sunset feels, right? We have some, you know, that are giving you more spark, more warm looks, and so on. So go and play with them. You know, they are just beautiful. They're subtle. They won't overtake your image, you know, they won't, like, you know, just be slapped on it. They really blend well. They have a huge dynamic range. We tested these looks, you know, with the show. We're helping out one of our clients that's using the new Sony Venice 2, also another amazing camera. I'm gonna go on and make a separate stream of just about that, you know, and it really, really, like, you know, helps us a lot, you know, as a great starting point, knowing, you know, this look is designed not with film in mind, you know, that it limits the gamut. It allows digital camera to expand beautifully, give you all the colors you want, yet, you know, it does feel a little bit filmic. Talking about, you know, some addition, I just really wanted to let you know we do have a new IDT, and it's called Sony Venice, okay? There is a new Sony Venice IDT, but I won't take it away from Arri's new announcements. I won't talk about it now. So just so you know, there is a brand new Venice profile that we developed, particularly for this job we were helping out, that really helps deal with a very, very large gamut that we get from that camera as well. Also, a couple of new things that while I'm on the new profiles, just go to the ODTs, to output profiles, and there is a couple of new things. The one new stuff you can see here is called output called 709 by ACES. Sometimes you want to preview what is your camera gonna look like when it's in ACES. What is gonna look like, and this is it. So look, I can just quickly click on this 709 by ACES, and then straight away you get that famous ACES sharp RRT look, right? And you don't have to go into ACES and switch everything into ACES. No, you just want to see, hey, what is this image going to look like if I was to use ACES, right? So you can do that, and so it's really, really available to you. And then we made a little change because some of our clients were a little bit confused with some of our output profiles. So what we did is this. So look, so when it comes to HDR, we always had the Netflix HDR, which is in P3 D65. Now, our original HDR10 was limited to Rec 2020, but now we made it unlimited. So it's actually 2020, and now we added a new profile, which is that limited profile, but it says here it's limited to P3D65. So you have a really options, like if you're working for Amazon, you want to go and do the unlimited, uncapped one, but if you're working for everybody else, I would use the limited P3D65. This is really better way of working. Generally, this is what I recommend. So, I wouldn't really, ever work in full 2020 for HDR, just, because you get better consistency on shots and everything if you just stick to the limitation of P3D65. All right, so also when I'm talking about some new profiles, what you guys can do now is if you go into Look Designer, okay, just go into this, your negative profiles, right? Right mouse click on it, and there you're going to see new categories. So there is this new category called Sinetone, major and minor we had, and then we also have the phototone option, okay? So, we're continuing with the musical styles, right? We like the whole concept of, like a combination of color and music. It does, feel right to us. So here we go. So there is a several, let me just go to phototone options. Fantastic, so this is going to be the one. So let me just show you basically how it works. So, there is a new AGFA, 100, right? Then there is a CineStill. Let me just go back to 709 so that you can actually really even see what they look like. But now I have to just quickly exit this and go back and change my output device transform to be the, the one that I really wanted to do here, which is the 709. Perfect. Now I'm going to go into Look Designer, and then, let me show you. So CineStill is a sample of like a basically film stock that is packaged for stills cameras, right? So that's the one. Then we have the Provias, the one that I showed you earlier, Velvias, Superia, and so on and so on and so on, right? So these are like all the kind of, the filmic profiles that I showed you, like that are kind of really inspired by street photography. I really love it. Okay, now I want to show you something else, which is really, really important announcement, okay? So let me just remove everything. All right, so that I'm a big fan of film print emulations. You probably, gather that. And the fact that, we have how many different types of film print emulations, right? So there is now even a new category that I dedicated, which is called print. And here are all the different printing profiles that you have, right? These are really the looks, that I feel are the most, filmic-like. Look at this kind of CP Fuji, the 8503. Now, what I've been doing is I've been working with different laboratories and taking every laboratory processes film slightly different, and you get slightly different result. And this is why we have several of those, right? But what is really specific for these prints is they all have been created by sampling the output. So what we do is we do a test printout, then we take this test printout, we analyze it, and then reverse engineer the profiling that happens on that film through that process. And that's really how most of the film profiles are done. But now we're introducing something else, something we didn't have before. And I really want to thank Kodak for that, because what I'm going to show you now comes from Rochester. And this is not a profile. that was created through this process of actual, like processing film and measuring film. This is a profile that is developed by Kodak to this is how they engineered their stock, and then the mathematical processing to what they have designed stock with. So all the curves, all the responding and everything like that has been then generated as a preview LUT. So this is not going through actual processing. This is kind of their reference, right, that they use to understand how a film stock should be behaving when it's manufactured. So this is like basically when they're making a film stock, when they're designing a stock, they're designing, how it should be responding, how should be the densities, how should be the curves. And then based on that mathematical calculations, they extracted a profile, which is then used purely for reference purposes. Like it's, of course, they basically then really compare how close is then really manufactured stock and processed stock to what we have originally designed. And it is called Kodak 2383 MPF, motion picture film. Okay, so this is that kind of mathematical transform from Kodak itself. And you know what? It's just amazing. Check this out. Check this out. I mean, I know I'm now on YouTube and I'm showing you stuff, but please go ahead, download it yourself. If you don't have application, there is a free trial, and just try it out. Don't even listen to me, just try it out. And especially what I would recommend you do is just try it out with just the standard, film print. Like this is what we used to have as a kind of, one of the film prints, look at it, this feels like really the print one, isn't it? But check out the new generic one from Kodak, 2383, right? It is just amazing. Look at the shadow response, and the clarity it's something else. We never had anything like this. So I have to tell you, this one really is going to stand out. It's going to give you a really, really new inspiration. At least it did to me. I have totally loved it. I felt like, this is just, I didn't think that we would be able to actually ever get, as close to this desired kind of, sometimes you just imagine what, film print should look like, and, you try to model your existing, profiles into that. But now with this, and amount of precision is just amazing because, it's built mathematically, right? So, there is no measurement errors that normally get introduced when we are sampling the stock and so on. So absolutely beautiful, guys. I can't, recommend this one more. Now, Adventurous Eddie says, are you in ACES space? No, I'm not. Actually, we are, internally all working in Arri. This is really our favorite space. This is how we calculate all the transforms. So, internally, we are Arri, but we can be fully ACES compatible. We can go ACES in and ACES out. So, you are totally capable to use our color science in ACES projects. Okay, very good. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to move on to show you some interesting stuff when it comes to Adobe Premiere. Okay, all right, so here I am. I'm now inside Adobe Premiere. So what I got now is this kind of, just, couple of shots from our demo project. Feel free to, guys, browse it and do it. Maybe I'm just going to, I'll leave these shots. Never mind. Let's do all of the size sequence. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is a new effect for Adobe Premiere. So if you go into your effects and you just search for Look Designer, you'll find that inside the video effects color intelligence, there is a new plugin called Look Designer. Okay, so just drag and drop that plugin onto your timeline. Okay, and instantly you're going to get the power of Look Designer, right? Which is kind of, one of the most, widely used look design and color management plugins in professional industry, that has graced, looks of more than 20,000 shows, right? And the reason why is because it just allows you to very quickly, intuitively build those gorgeous looks. Okay? It is now available inside Adobe Premiere, and it's so well optimized. We try to play 4 layers of 4K footage, and it's all playing in real time. We assume that, you will not going to need more in a normal scenario, more than 4 layers at the same time. But, if you want to push it more, please go and do it. All right? So everything that you have learned and you've known, from Davinci's plugin is here. And by the way, this is the same image processing engine that is inside Colourlab AI. This is like, so Colourlab AI and Look Designer, they share the same image processing engine. Okay, so for example, what I can do now is I can just say, all right, look, this is the camera I'm using is Panasonic. So what happens now is basically Premiere users, they get advanced color management inside Premiere, and they never had anything like that. They had to rely on lookup tables and some sort of lumetri processing. I will make separate training courses just for that, for you guys just to see, how this expands your horizons and everything that you're able to do. All right, so what you can do is you can just go and say, okay, look, now I can just take this particular, setting. Maybe I'm just going to go quickly and apply a print option. Why not? I'm just going to go into print, right? I'm going to go into my contrast, and I'm going to apply, let's say, a Kodak 2383 contrast, and I'm going to go into my print stock, and I'm going to apply, let's say, Kodak, Vision 2383, right, like that. And then I'm just going to go a little bit into subtractive. I'm going to go and, oops, that's a little bit too much. These controls are like pain in the neck, but I'm going to show you how we solve that as well in my next step, right? And then I'm just going to go and open up push and pull. It's definitely easier if you use sliders. This is opposite to when you use it in Davinci. In Davinci, it's easier to when you use numbers. Here is the other way around. Okay, so let's say this is kind of my look. And then all you need to do then is just say copy, right? And then you can go and you can then paste attributes, right? And then you paste these attributes and you apply this to a look designer, right? So check it out. Now everything is basically got that look, but we still need to quickly give it a balance. Now, you not only have the plugin that does color management, camera matching, and everything else. It's not just that. You have actually professional color grading controls that behave and give you the results like, those controls inside, Baselight or inside Davinci, right? So for example, you can just go and say, all right, give me my printer lights, and I'm just going to go, oops, and I'm going to adjust my printer lights here. There we go. So this is the exposure, a little bit adjustment on this shot. And you see how beautifully it works. It behaves as printer lights, it behaves as it should be behaving, I really kind of definitely going to have to make a little tutorial, which is just a very specific, to this, particular engine and how to use it and so on. But, look, very, very quickly, I generated, a look. So, and it's all real time, right? You don't have to worry. So now as an editor, you can already start building your looks and making everything work inside Premiere, right? Really good, especially if you need to match cameras and so on. Now, I want to show you how we can integrate now ACES inside Premiere. You were never able to work in ACES before. There was not such a thing as Adobe Premiere in ACES. Never existed, okay? So let me show you this now. So what you do is following. You go to the original, profile in Look Designer. But instead of outputting an output to 709, right, what we're going to do is we're going to output to ACES CCT, okay? So what am I going to do now is I'm going to go and let me copy this over, right? So I'm going to go and change that all of my basically plugins are not outputting to 709, but they're all outputting to ACES CCT, right? And things start looking a little bit strange and you go like, wow, what is this going on? But what you do then is this, you take an adjustment layer, okay? You drop that adjustment layer somewhere on top of your timeline, somewhere, just where it's not going to be like in a way. And you go to effects and you take another instance of Look Designer and you drop that. And this instance, all you want to do is you want to use only for color management, not for actual look. And then in profiles, you say, hey, I want to go here from ACES CCT to 709. right? So now what you got is you got basically a workflow where you are, this guy needs to be probably adjusted. I think I have a double plugin here. This is probably what's happening, right? Oh, Dada, what are you doing? All right, let me go. I'm just going to remove this guy. And then in my printer options, I'm just going to go and change this a little bit. So I should have actually removed those plugins first. Let me do that quickly. So I'm just going to highlight those clips, right mouse click, remove attributes. Let's remove all of this look designer, and then let's copy and paste it again. Okay, so I'm going to go and then paste attributes again. Okay, now we're good. Excellent. This looks like, I am expected to do. And then I just still need to go and adjust a little bit of this particular exposure on this shot. This shot always gives me like a little exposure issue. Printer lights, and I'm just going to go and just bring them down. Unbelievable, actually, that we can now grade in ACES in Premiere. And you wonder now, hey, why are you Dada doing this? What's the whole point of, working like this? And the point is that what I can do now is I can then basically just switch off this particular layer, adjustment layer. And what I have here is my kind of graded master. The look is applied, shots are balanced, but they are inside ACES CCT. Okay, so there is plenty people who work on shows like, talk shows, multi-camera shows, concerts, documentaries. They don't necessarily need like a full-blown conform and grade. They just really need to quickly apply looks. They don't have time to turn over. There's enough material out there. And they still want to go and deliver, for example, Dolby Vision for Netflix or for Apple or for someone like that. Okay? So what you do then is you say File, right? I'm going to go and export this media, right? And then I'm going to say, okay, I'm just going to render it at the moment as ProRes, 422, but you probably guys, get it, like something like 444 or something like that would be better. Okay. So now I'm going to go and just, export this quickly out. And then I'm going to go and open Davinci. And the reason why I'm opening Davinci is because this is most common software that we use for final mastering and for Dolby Vision. Usually, we need to create Dolby Vision masters for anything we do, right? Okay, if we are delivering to any of these channels. So what I did now is I just basically got that. Now I think this is in my demo project. So where is my demo project here? Excellent. And then there is something called work in progress. And there is this render I just created. So this is probably the one that I just did now. Okay. And then what you do, you just drop this particular, oh yeah, by the way, first thing we want to do is we want to tell Davinci, hey, Davinci, we want you to be an ACES project. So you go and you make it ACES, right? So now I'm in ACES 1.3, right? And I want to output my to ODT. I'm giving you a quick ACES course. By the way, next week, Thursday, there is an amazing seminar we're doing where we're going to teach you everything you guys need to know about ACES workflow for Netflix deliveries, for Amazon deliveries, for Disney deliveries, for Apple, and so on. So basically, the whole workflow, how you're building LUTs, what you're doing with effects, how you're exporting, linear ACES to effects or ACES CG, how you build LUTs for set, how you build LUTs for visual effects, all the tricks and everything, what you do with gamut mapping and so on. So this is next Thursday. Go to Color Training and check out. There is something called ACES seminar there. Now I have to just tell this clip, hey, you are actually an ACES clip, ACES CCT to be precise. Boom. The moment I did that, there we go. That clip we just basically exported from the Premiere, but in ACES CCT, right? And this is just amazing, right? So what I can do now is I can just create a new timeline quickly, right? I go into the edit, let's go do that, right? I go into edit. I tell basically my Davinci, hey, please do detect scene cuts. Boom, it's gonna go recut the clip for us. And then I can just go switch on Dolby Vision mastering and go through it because I have full dynamic range. Everything's there. And then, I promised you that, I wanted to tell you, hey, you can do one-click HDR. And yes, you can. You can do one-click HDR just by using ACES in Davinci. Like here, you can just click here and say, I want to output to, 2020 1000 nits. And there we go. Now, basically, my grade has converted instantly into HDR, and I can just go and do it. Will save you days. Will save you days because there is none of this XML nonsense, relinking, speed changes, what happened with this, what happened with that. No, everything came out of Premiere Timeline in such a quality that you can master it for HDR. You have full dynamic range of an ACES clip inside that, okay? By the way, that same trick, I'm not gonna save it now, that same trick that basically, I just did now in Davinci, you can also do inside the Premiere. Look, I can just go to Premiere and I can say, hey, I don't wanna output to 709, I wanna click here and I wanna output it to HDR for Netflix. And bang, your timeline suddenly becomes in HDR. And you can render straight away HDR master from your Premiere timeline. You don't have to open a new project, do color management, whatever, however they did it. We believe that the only way we can actually make a good HDR is if we make HDR and SDR in parallel at the same time. Really, this is the most important part of HDR grading, is not how to make an HDR. I mean, HDR looks great. It's very easy to make one. But how to make HDR and SDR at the same time? How to do that? How to actually just be able to grade once and then just click on a button and convert your grade from one format to another. And now you can. Okay? Now, this was me just showing you how to use plugin if you like to click around with the plugin, and this is absolutely good. But we want to take it to the next level. We want to automate things. Why? We want to automate it because that's the future of post-production. Post-production is all about automation. It's all about how we're going to work better and faster, how we're going to work less manual. There is nothing really that's going to happen now inside the post-production world, but us developing tools that are going to help us to be less manual and more automated. How wonderful it would be that some of the things that we have to click can actually happen in automation. And it can. Are you ready now? Okay, let me show you how you do that. So now I'm going to go into Colourlab, right? I'm going to say new, right? So just to remove this project, I don't want to save it, that's okay, right? And then here you have something which is called Fetch from Premiere. I've never shown this in public before. This is the first time I'm doing a public streaming of this. Watch this. I click Fetch from Premiere and bang, the whole timeline. I just have to tell these clips that they are Panasonic clips, right? That's Panasonic. And the whole timeline just comes across. No XMLs, no exports, no nothing. We have integrated Premiere in the same way how we already integrated Final Cut. If you've seen our really very elegant way of working with Final Cut or Davinci, right, a year before that. Now you can do same with Premiere. You just drag these things across and then you say, okay, this is perfect. I got it. Then what I do here is I basically go and say, okay, let me just go. I'm going to just grade with you this sequence very quickly. And I'm going to show you like how I at the moment grade. I have found a new kind of quick way. And you know what? We're going to use this new Kodak profile as well. Why not? So first thing what I do is when I open a sequence, I don't necessarily say, hey, match everything. I like to work shot by shot. I believe color needs human. AI is not there to do all the work for us. AI is there to accelerate us, but I don't want AI to do everything. I enjoy color grading. I want to color grade. I want to touch the clips. I don't want some machine to do it for me. I want just to use this AI to be faster. That's all it is. But, the process, the creative process of color grading is what the color grading is all about. The human interacting with the machine and deciding what looks good and what doesn't. That's what color grading is. It's not about, click one button and make it do it for me. That's not really what we're trying to build here. So just understand, right? So I'm going to go now and use my auto color here. So you see my auto color is just going to go through the clips and it's just going to go and balance them. So you see how nicely it just gives them the skin tone balance and says like this. And then what I do, every time I do this auto color balance, I then click on this target here. And with the target, I select my area that I really want. So like, for example, you see, I want to just go and highlight, this face here. And then I want to decide, where I want to put this face. And then I'm just going to go and say maybe half a stop down. And by the way, you have always your Ed Lachman zones available to you so you can read really what's happening with exposure. All right. So then I'm going to go to the next shot. I go and say, give me the auto balance. I quite like this one. Okay, the next one. Give me the auto balance. And then I just go and I say, well, this is my area of interest, by the way. I just highlight that and bang, the clip's already been adjusted correctly. This one here, can you just give me an auto balance, please? Beautiful. And it's basically, you see the auto color, our auto color is not like a kind of just stretch things and make them look like a clean. No, it gives the beautiful roll off in the highlights. It looks a little bit warmer, more like D60, more like film. So you see the skin tone just starts feeling really, really right. Okay. So I actually really enjoy going like this, you know, clip by clip and just going and doing auto balancing. And then auto balance moves the controls for me. In the past, what I would do is I would go and have to juggle each control by hand. I have like controllers. Now I don't work without controllers. I just click, right? Move it like that. Perfect. I love this shot. Let's go move to this one. Perfect. Maybe I want to just check, you know, is this exposure here good? Half a stop down. This is pretty good. This one here. Let's see how this one's going to look like. That's too much, right? And then what I do is I say, well, hang on a moment. That's not really the match that I want. I always press enter. And when I press enter, it gives me my models. And one model is always right, you know? And I always try with it this kind of, you know, finals or theatrical. And I feel theatrical is the one. Why? Is because this is kind of green, lush. It's not exactly the same scene like other scenes. So I'm going to go and say, no, you know what? This is the look that I want. I'm just going to go and highlight this guy here. So just to tell it, this should be my half a stop, you know, target and so on, right? So you basically always, like, you know, first thing you do is you resort to your models and you see, is there any model here that's going to do it for me, right? And it just really, really, you know, so this is the kind of, you know, the process that I like to do. I first go and I just balance everything out. All right. So once I did that, I'm going to go and say, okay, give me now my famous, you know, Kodak, you know, MPF. I do that, right? And then I'm just going to go and basically right mouse click on it and say, paste this show look to all shots. And bang, it does that. And now basically, because I work color managed, because I got everything nicely balanced, the moment I applied this show light, everything just feels absolutely right. This one can come up a little bit, right? Now I have two ways how to do it. I could be selecting it here, or check this out. I can then just click and I can say, no, you know what? Show me my exposure. I can select, this is the exposure that I want. This is exactly the level I like, right? And there we go. I got my whole timeline perfectly graded. It took me a few minutes, no problem, right? And then what am I going to do? Well, now I have to render, conform, export, isn't it? That's what we would have to do. That is automation. Automation means like, I don't want to ever have to render. It's called color meta, virtualizing of color. We don't want you ever again to have to render. Never. Color in post is just a metadata. It's completely virtual. So just go and push to Premiere, right? Okay, while it's doing that, I'm going to go and switch to show you what's happening inside the Premiere. And now what's going to happen is going to say, okay, here we go. I'm preparing your timeline. And there you're going to start seeing that it's updating in total 319 parameters, right? And you see with the line, yellow line, how they're being updated. Check it out, guys. Real time. No rendering, no adjustment, exactly the same look that I just had before in my Colourlab AI. It's coming here. And how? Well, it's very simple. There is this plugin here, which we call Colourlab AI, right? That gets applied to the clip. It's identical to Look Designer, but with no controls. So I can just basically go and just work, you know, just with that, with parameters from Colourlab AI. All right? And it's all real time, no rendering ever, nothing. And then you come to a shot and you say, oh, you know what? Maybe this shot, I feel it's a little bit too dark, or maybe this highlight needs to be changed. Okay, no problem. I'm just going to go back. What did you say? This one's a little bit too, you know, how about I bring the highlight down a little bit? Okay, very good. You then right mouse click just on that clip. You say push only this shot to Premiere. Thank you very much. No, I don't want to save it. I just really wanted to show you how that works, right? Perfect. I just go back to Premiere. Let's see what happened there. My shot got instantly updated. Okay? Now, how about they say, oh, you know what? In my editing, you know, we added some new shots, right? So let's say there is a new shot we just added. like, oh, this shot here. Okay, never mind. It's a repeat of the shot, but I just want to show you what happens, right? So then what I do is I can then just go to Colourlab again, and I can then fetch it again and bring it in, and that same shot, the next shot is going to appear, and then you can grade that, go back and forth, back and forth. So the color grading stops being this kind of linear process. Oh, we edit, and then we grade. No. I edit, I grade, I edit, I grade, I edit. I actually want this to be fluent exercise, and I can, because I don't have to render. It's all linked seamlessly. I can just work whichever way I want. Okay? And then once I've done that, once I'm, have completed that, I can also perform the same trick. I can just output everything in ACES CCT again. So you see, I can just do that, push it, and then I'm in ACES CCT. So you see, this is like an absolutely amazing new way of working, that I really hope, guys, you're going to take advantage from, because this is such a beautiful way of working, and I really hope that this is going to transform the way how you think about color and what color really is. Okay, I just had to go and plug my laptop in a power supply while I was playing this thing. It knocked out the power supply with my head earlier. All right, cool. Now, the last thing I have for you now is, well, I have two things actually. I want to play you one video that I graded with Colourlab AI, which was like a real kind of interesting project. But before that, I want to ask you guys to give me a number between 1 and 512. So maybe Thomas, could you please just type in a chat a number between 1 and 520? Peter, can you also type me one number? Okay, Peter 284, Thomas 28. Okay, let's go 284. Kevin's got a number as well. Okay, wait. I have too many numbers. Guys, between 1 and 512. All right. Theo has got 404. Then I have a Justin says 89. Wait. Robert says 250. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more number. 36. Why not? Let's go to one very early one. 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm going to, as soon as I finish the stream, I'm going to look at the list of my registrations, and I'm going to see who's registered and what's happening. Maybe if we're lucky, I might be able to do it still while I'm here on call. Let me go if I can pull the list very quickly. The next thing I wanted to show you guys is a project that I've been supporting because it's been done by Ivana, and I really love it. And it was a great example to what you can do with Colourlab. That we work always with this professional high-end Hollywood, but you know what? We work also with stuff that is not professional. And this project she's been doing was anything but professional. They shot with the Canon 5D interviews. They had GoPro camera in the water. There was some iPhone footage. There were still images from camera. There was, some unknown cameras. I was like, guys, what camera was that? Oh, we don't know. How come you don't know what camera it is? Nobody asked what camera you were using. No, we never asked. They just sent us material. I mean, you probably get the idea. Like, there are those projects that are done a little bit like that. And, it's actually a beautiful project. It's called Nature of Surf Woman. And I want to show you, how we graded it using entirely Colourlab AI in a relatively short amount of time. I just went through it. But for me, it was also a test. Can we actually work with all this phone footage, all the stuff, and still be able to get the results? And yes, I'd like to encourage you to, have a look at it. It's on Kickstarter at the moment. It's a book, but let actually, this video tell the story. So let's go.
My name is Ivana Bajc, and I'm a producer of Nature of Surf Woman. We are creating a multimedia project here in Osara, Costa Rica, which is one of 5 blue zones in the world. And you will have a unique chance to be introduced with the female surfers who live and surf in this magical place.
Yo soy Gabriela Telles, soy la fotógrafa de este proyecto. Yo soy originaria de Costa Rica y he estado acá tratando de construir una narrativa que mezcle los elementos de tierra y de agua para poder hablar sobre la historia de las mujeres de esta comunidad que han construido un pequeño mundo dentro del surf. Ivana was pushing me all the time, but in a good sense. That means that she challenged me to go to my limit. And I think that each girl that is surfing is doing the same. Go to her own limits for find another response, another answer for something that are happening in their life. So I feel that I'm not just a photographer of the project, I am also living the experience with them.
We broke the stereotype of a perfect girl on a perfect wave. For us, it's about all the girls who believe that surfing is fun and that we all surf because we want to be on the ocean and we want to enjoy sharing the wave.
In a geographical place that it's beautiful, that we have to mention, that we have to show to the world, because this is like some kind of sanctuary of women. It's in a positive way of show sorority.
Okay, so I hope you like the project, guys. You know, it's a great little, idea, beautiful book, beautiful photography. I would encourage you go to Kickstarter, and if your better half is interested into surfing and beautiful photography, you might just find them a beautiful present for Christmas, I think, because this is how long it's going to take before the book's printed. So please go ahead and support it. In the meantime, I have some good news. I managed to pull off the list of people, of our subscribers, and I'm just going to go now and basically, tell you who are the winners. Okay, so let's go first and find number 284. Okay, so number 284. Okay, here we go. 1 second, let me see. All right, so the 284 is Czerwona Anastasia. So Czerwona Anastasia. So congratulations, Czerwona. You have just won one license of Colourlab AI Pro. Woo! Let's have a round of applause for Czerwona. Okay, very good. Now I have a number 404. So this is number 404. Okay, so the number 404 is Urman Eled. Urman Eled. Everybody, I hope Urman you're here with us, and we will be emailing you the code and a voucher that you can claim your thing. This is number 404. Number 3 is 89. Let's see, 89 page here. Okay, 89 is Jeremy Berger. So congratulations, Jeremy Berger. Okay, anybody actually, you know what, let me check, guys. I think I have even here, if I'm not wrong, I used to have a sound effects like this. Woohoo! Alrighty, why did I play it every time? All right, the next one is number 250. So let's go, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is number 250? Here we go. And number 250 is Evans Dean. Evans Dean. Congratulations to Evans Dean. Can we please have a sound effect? Yeah! Excellent. And last. Okay, the last. All right, maybe I'm overdoing with sound effects now. That's the thing when you give me something to play with, right? All right, the last one is number 36. All right, number 36. Let's go. It's a very early one, right? But let's reword the early one, right? And number 36 is Anne Frederick. Anne Frederick. Woo! Let's go. Applause, everybody, for Anne Frederick. Here we go. Okay, everybody. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining. our time is up. We are actually, just about 1 hour. We did it well. Maybe we're going to start doing it like in the broadcasting, we have a tight timing, 1 hour, 1 hour. Perfect. Thank you so much for being here with us. I really hope you're going to benefit from these wonderful tools that we have developed. I think it's absolutely awesome, guys. How things are evolving and how easier color grading is getting every day. And this is our mission. We're going to continue to make your job easier and more fun by making tools that are just gonna do things for you, help you, and automate the process for you. Enjoy, everybody, the rest of your week. Go ahead, download the trial if you haven't tried it already. It is available now in our store, and hit us with any questions you have on help@Colourlab AI. Thank you also to all my crew and team at Color Intelligence, especially Mark Peterson, who is managing this whole process, who's product managing Colourlab AI. It is his baby as well. I want to thank to Gary Oberbrunner, the head of our development. I want to thank to Ray and David from Vidvox, the star developers who are basically, tirelessly working at the moment as we speak already on a Windows version. Anybody asked me recently, is there going to be a Windows version? I don't know. Hang on a moment. Maybe. Did I just say we're working on it? Maybe. Thank you, everybody.